into the crowd. So, I get a good look at my grandma. I had to dig this picture up. Sir, are you guys related? Oh, this is your son. So, young Jewish people, who doesn't like that? So, oh, that's my grandma Rose. She was very dignified, by the way.
Nice meeting you.
Hey, nice to meet you too.
Let's make a l'chaim.
L'chaim?
Yeah,
L'chaim.
l'chaim.
Should I have a little bit?
Yes.
You trust this guy that he doesn't have any kind of disease. Tell him. Sorry, I've been 120. Hooray! 65 years. You guys look like you like.
And I met her on a blind date.
You met her on a blind date?
In France, France.
In France, he's so romantic. I like it. Wonderful. So my grandma was, when I was a kid, of course, she was an old person that you didn't really care about. I mean, of course, I loved her, but I was busy with my own activities, playing music and doing my things. And she was always at our house chopping eggplant and onions because she's Romanian. And she talked just like this. Oh, he's awesome, shady. She'd go, Peter. And I would grow like a beard, or we had a dog. Hey, kids, go away, dog. And what's the board? She didn't like that I had a beard. And Matt, this is my grandma. Look at her. She's so sweet. I'd have to say this about her. I loved her. She was crazy racist. I mean, but in the best way, if there is such a thing. So I had a girlfriend, she wasn't Jewish. This is funny, this is where my upbringing, just so you know where I'm coming from. So I bring her in the car, I just got my license, and my grandma wanted to go to the Lincoln Dell. Anyone remember that from Minneapolis? Probably not. It wasn't kosher, but she liked fleischig borscht. It was borscht with meat in it. So I drove, and she always used to be afraid of my driving. Go slow. And so she knew that my girlfriend was Jewish, or so she strongly assumed. And she said, so she looked at her like, no, you're Jewish? And she was expecting, of course, yes. And she said no. And she said, "Oi, fat." Story number 2 about my grandma. This is bad, super racist, in the way that only a Romanian Jew from turn of the century can be. So I had this another Grandma Min, who was born in Minneapolis. She was so not racist. She was on the vanguard of the civil rights movement in Minneapolis, which is a very segregated city. There would always be black people in the house, all the time in her apartment. And she was helping them. Sometimes they would, the ink spots, ever heard of those guys? I was saying, they slept in her apartment, polar opposite from this grandma. And this grandma was somehow sweeter. Is it possible to be totally racist and yet somehow sweeter? So, maybe you haven't heard this story yet. I use it as a reference point. So, my grandma Min, who had ink spots in her house, hired this guy from, I don't know where I was in Minneapolis, from West Texas. His name was Lester Williams. And he's this black guy with really like Don, what's his name? Like Don King hair. Like he was in his 70s. And he used to play like Fiddler on the Roof for her Jewish Women's League stuff. So he got him to come to my house every Sunday to teach me guitar. It was amazing. Peter, I'm going to teach you how to play these big chords. And it was great. And so my grandma came through the garage door with my mom. And this is how racist she was. And the story's going to get better because she's going to tell you how sweet she was. And she comes and she sees my grandma and my mom come through the garage. And I'm there with Lester going upstairs. And my mom says, Lester, this is Lester. And she kind of reluctantly takes his hand. And then my mom says, Lester's wife is upstairs in the living room waiting. Maybe you want to go sit with her. She says in Yiddish, which I don't know well, she says, basically, I met one Schwarzer, do I need to meet another? It's crazy. So, when I was a kid, and you shouldn't, how old are you, by the way, young person? 14? You're old enough to hear whatever I have to say. Post bar mitzvah, it all goes fine. So, when I was 14, I know it is a rabbi's son. I'm going to be very cautious about what I say and what I don't say. So at my house, my grandma's chopping these onions and peppers for making Romanian eggplant. And I come home from 8th grade with all this tubing that I had stolen in my pants to create a massive hookah pipe in my bedroom with which I would imbibe herbal pharmacological substances. So my grandma, she looks and she says, Peter, you want some bacalhau? You want some eggplant? Like, what kid at 14 wants eggplant? Like, no, I don't. But I somehow sadly disregarded her. That was the thing. I had little regard for her. So I go down and I utilize my hookah pipe. And I change my state of mind. Now I don't advocate this usage at all. I'm just saying I was a kid, I used to do that. And I came upstairs, this is the point, and I saw my grandma. Not as like, grandma, you know, funny. She was so beautiful at that moment. And I became quite cognizant of the fact that she was such an important person in my life and how much I loved her. And especially about how transient life is and that she was gonna die someday, probably soon, because she was so old. And I asked her to sing me this song that she always would sing to me since I was a kid. And I always ignored the song because she's just an old lady singing a song. And I took down the transliteration, I learned the song, and as she became senile later, she got very old, she lived for a long time, and they would say, Peter, come and sing the song for her. And it kind of would pull her back. So I'm going to try to sing the song in transliteration. If you know Yiddish, some of the words are probably not right. This was a stone 14-year-old taking this. Don't judge me too harsh. And no, it's not for you. It was not good for me. Except in this one instance. Okay? Young man? Okay, so, yeah, we're gonna get this guitar. This is your guitar. No, just take it over there. That guitar. Take this pedal. So this song she used to sing from all the time. She learned it as a 10-year-old child in Romania. Sort of babysitting this woman, this woman's child. The woman's husband had died. I think, as I said, it was of like diphtheria or some sort of disease. The child was dying. My grandma pulled it all the way with her from Romania. Einschläf, mein Kind, dein Engel lacht, dein Name nicht mein Chayesaros. Dort Bandalten wie gelacht, dort zieht auch dein Mutterreut weg. Sie kluckten wein, wo sie hatte, geboren in Sursin, ihr nehmen nicht in mich. Ich hab dein Vater verloren, bis die Nacht ein Monoton gewählt. Bis die Nacht ein Monoton gewählt. Wonderful work, man. Thank you.